Now it's been 10 months since we first rode the Suzuki Gixxer and we loved it. In fact, the bike was so impressive that it went on to win our Bike of the Year award last year. However, this year Suzuki has followed up with this, the Gixxer SF. Now some of the differences are obvious, so before we get going, let's find out what's changed from the naked bike to the faired one.
The most obvious change is that fairing itself. Even though we got the naked bike first, it doesn't feel like this full fairing was an afterthought and looks very well integrated into the overall design. Barring that though, you'll struggle to find what's changed between the two bikes. But if you look close enough, you'll notice that the exhaust tip has been slightly redesigned and now sports a matte finish. The handlebar clamp too has changed, and Suzuki claims that this has helped reduce flex in that area, making for more precise steering. But apart from this, all other design elements have been carried over from the naked Gixxer.
Now the best part about this front fairing is that it's not just a case of form over function. It's actually been styled by Suzuki's Japanese engineers in the same wind tunnel that they used to test their MotoGP bike, the GSX RR. It's been designed to be aerodynamic and cleave through the air with greater ease. And it looks good too, especially in this MotoGP inspired livery in Suzuki blue and fluorescent yellow. But now it's time to get on the bike and find out what stayed the same.
The 155cc single-cylinder air-cooled motor retains its state of tune, making 14.8 PS of power and 40 Nm of torque. All the other mechanicals too are exactly the same: the 5-speed gearbox, the carburetor, the works. So to sum it up in one line, pretty much everything is identical to the naked Gixxer. Except of course, the curb weight, which has now gone up to 139 kilos thanks to the added fairing.
With the extra 4 kilos that the SF is carrying over its naked sibling, I was expecting acceleration to be a little bit slower, but surprisingly it's not. 0 to 100 takes the same 15.5 seconds, where the fairing does help, however, is its top speed, which is a little bit higher than the regular Gixxer. But what I do love about this motor is that it retains its phenomenal tractability. It works really well no matter where you ride it, in the city, on the highway, or even in endless streets. It's just a very lovely motor with a lovely power delivery. SF also retains the wonderful handling characteristics of the Gixxer with its auto suspension and those lovely grippy MRF tires. But in fact, the SF feels a little bit better around corners than the naked bike, thanks to that extra weight it got on the front end. The front end feel is now much better, giving you much more confidence to take this bike into corners. What I'm not a very big fan of on the SF, as well as the Gixxer, are the brakes. Now that front disc has good bite, but the feel of the lever is quite spongy. You don't have to brake a little bit hard. I have to grab that lever with all 4 fingers, and that's not very comfortable at high speed. And that in a nutshell is the Suzuki Gixxer SF. A fun little bike that builds on what the Gixxer started last year. But mind you, it's not a proper super sport bike like the Yamaha R15. What it is a street bike with a full fairing. But at Rs 85,000 ex-showroom Delhi, it is the most affordable full-faired bike in the country at the moment. And at that price, you get a great riding experience and a healthy dose of style. But I do wish the SF came with low-slung clip-on handlebars, proper rear set foot pegs and a little more power. That would make it even more fun than it is right now. But you know what? Suzuki has done just that. Convert the SF into a proper track scorcher for the Suzuki Gixxer SF Cup. Well, now that you've seen how the Gixxer SF rides on the road, it's time to see how the bike rides on the track. We are here as part of the Gixxer SF Cup, the one make series started by Suzuki in India for 2015. Here's the bike that will be racing, and of course it's changed from the road bike, so we're going to discuss the changes first before we take it for a spin. The primary changes that have happened on the Gixxer SF for the Cup are in terms of its setup. Firstly, they have gone from a regular wide bar to low-slung clip-ons. Also, the foot pegs now are all steel, and now they're set much further back. It's a proper rear set now. The seats pretty much maintained as it is, but now it's got a tail cowl. It looks the part of a proper race bike. And the other big news, of course, are the tires. Now, these are special MRF tires that have been supplied to Suzuki for the Gixxer Cup. They are supposed to be a lot grippier, and they should be good fun on the track. But of course, it's now time to put this to the test. So let's take the bike out for a quick spin and find out what's what.
Now there have been some mechanical changes too. While the basic engine setup is unchanged, the race bike is running with a free-flow exhaust, a high-flow air filter and a larger jet in the carburetor. According to the officials at Suzuki, the bike now makes between 17 to 18 PS of power as compared to the 14.8 PS of the road-going version. They also said that it was now almost 20 kilos lighter than the standard SF. So performance is undoubtedly improved by a large margin. And that's not all. The front sprocket is now larger to give the bike taller overall gearing for better top-end performance. Around the tight bends of Kari, the Gixxer SF Cup bike was an absolute hoot thanks to its aggressive seating position designed purely for attacking corners. But what really impressed us were the bespoke MRF tires which provided a ridiculous amount of grip. Too bad you can't get those for the road bike. Overall though, the session at Kari was really an eye-opener about a couple of things. Firstly, just how good a bike the Gixxer actually is. Secondly, how much more potential is possible from it with just a few tweaks here and there. But the biggest takeaway was that Suzuki India really seems to have become serious about enthusiast motorcycling in the country, and this is just the beginning.